Before you were born, before your parents ever even met, God already knew you. And so, what does this mean? You are no accident. Let me say something that may change the way that you see your entire life. Before your first breath, God already knew your life, your struggles, your passions, and your purpose. And so, if you've ever felt lost or overlooked or unsure why you're even here, this video is definitely for you. A lot of people spend their entire lives trying to figure out who they are, and they try to figure it out by success, by validation, maybe that next promotion at work, or maybe by somebody else's approval of them. That is a huge one. But here's the truth that I've discovered in my own life, and I know that this is real. You do not find your identity and purpose by looking outward. You find it by understanding how God sees you. So in this video, I'm going to give you 3 truths that will anchor your identity whenever you're feeling unsure about who you are or who that you belong to. So let's get into it. Truth number 1, you were known by God before you were even formed. Jeremiah 1:5, this is beautiful. It says, "Before I formed you even in the womb, I knew you." This changes everything. This means God didn't meet you whenever you were born. He didn't discover you when you were 14 years old. He knew you before you existed. So this is powerful. Follow me here. That means that your personality is not random. Your wiring is not random. Your life is not random. Even the things that you don't understand about yourself, which I've got a million and I bet that you do too, God's already accounted for them. You're not going to surprise him. Here's a little story that I bet all of us can relate to, or at least some of us can relate to. Whenever you're a kid, you're in school, you feel different, you feel out of place. Now just imagine this kid, if this wasn't you, you start imagining something is wrong with you, something is wrong with him, or something is wrong with her. You get called weird, you get called different, right? Well, years later, those same differences can become leadership, boldness, passion, things that other people are pounding in your brain, calling them flaws and calling them weird and calling them different, can actually be genius in God's eyes. He knows that they're there inside of you. He placed them there. This is an advantage, not a disadvantage. What you've been questioning about yourself, God has intentionally placed inside of you. Sit on that for just a sec. So I want you to just stop asking, why am I like this? And start asking, how can God use this? God knew you long before you existed. Nothing about you is accidental, not a dang thing. All right, truth number 2, you were created with purpose, not just existence. Ephesians 2:10 tells us that we were created, like we are his masterpiece, created for good works. Calls us his masterpiece. We were designed for a reason. We're not here just to survive, to pay bills, to go through the motions, to have the 2.5 kids and the dogs and all of that. All of this is well and good, but we were created with intention. God didn't just create you, he created assignments for your life. Things that you were put here to do. So the problem is this: most people live reactive instead of intentional. And believe me, there's plenty of distractions out there. The enemy's very, very good at bombarding you with things that are outside of the real purpose. So if you're not intentional, this is easy to get lost in. So imagine this as well. Here's another quick story for you. I've seen this in my career with guys, been in my career for quite a while here. But you see guys that are doing the same thing year after year over and over, and they start getting bored and they're like, I don't have a purpose. There's nothing for me here. Well, whenever they start seeing it in a different light and they start asking God, what can I be used for? They start mentoring these other people that are coming on that are younger than them and helping them out and helping them to be better at their job. And all of a sudden they see that they're in growth development. They're helping these other people become better at what they do. They're finding a purpose just by looking at it differently. Does that make sense? And purpose is not always going to show up in those big moments. It's going to show in the small things that you do daily. Y'all know I harp on this. So I want you to ask yourself, where has God already placed me that maybe I'm just overlooking? I want you to know that you were not created to exist. You were created to make an impact. There is not another you. If you're watching this, looking into my eyes right now, you are one of one. You are not me, you are not anybody else, and don't let anybody else ever tell you that you're supposed to be somebody else. Only God gets to do that. All right, and truth number 3, let's bring it home. You cannot let the world decide for you what God has already decided for you. Romans 12:2 tells us, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind so that you can know the will of God that is pleasing and perfect. And so here's the tension. God defines you one way, and the world works its butt off to try to redefine you a different way. The world says you're not enough, you're behind, you're disqualified. You are your past. That's a good one. But check this out. Here is what God says. He says, you're chosen, you're known, you're mine. I have a plan. My ways are the best ways. My understanding is more than your understanding. My ways of thinking are higher than your ways of thinking. And if you're not careful, it's really easy to believe the wrong voice. Trust me, I know that a lot of y'all can relate. I want to start wrapping this up with a final story here. I want you to imagine an alcoholic father, okay? There's an alcoholic dad and he has two sons. And those two sons, one of them goes on to pretty much follow in his dad's footsteps. He starts drinking, starts hitting the bottle for all of his problems, starts making excuses, doesn't make anything of his life. The other son sees that and it's so painful he doesn't want to do that. He makes amazing things out of himself. Grows up, he's successful, starts in businesses, wife, family, all of that, intentional, helping other people. And so if you go to these two sons and you ask them, how did you turn out the way that you did? They're both going to say, well, I had an alcoholic father growing up. What else was I supposed to do? You see my point here? Two very, very same situations, two completely different ways of looking at it from the same situation. It's the way that you look at it is letting God transform your mind through that power of Romans 12:2. He's already got plans for you that are far better than you could possibly exceed. And so this world most definitely going to try to define you and frame you as to who you are. But are you letting God do that for you? Listen, man, the most dangerous identity I think that you can accept is one that God didn't give you. So the word is very clear about this as to taking every thought captive. What does that mean? Everything that comes into your mind, into your world, it's got to run through a filter. And what is that filter? It should be, did God say this about me? If not, reject it. It's not part of who you are. Don't let other things define who you are. All right, y'all, listen, you are not random. You are not here by accident. And your life is not meaningless. Before you ever existed, God already knew you. Before you ever acted on anything, God already had purpose for you. And before the world ever tried to label you, God has already defined who you are. So stop letting these insecurities, these confusions, your past, nobody else can tell you who you are. And hey, listen, if this message hits you, I would like for you to comment, not an accident. You are not an accident. If you see this, I fully expect to see that comment because you are not an accident. And if you think that you are an accident and you want to talk further, you're more than welcome to hit me up privately as well. I'd be glad to talk to you. I've made it my life's mission to chat with people and to try to help bring them up into finding out who they are, who God has designed them to be, what their life's purpose actually is, because that's the sweet spot to live. And I encourage you to subscribe to this channel as well. If you like some, no fluff, real biblical truth preaching here, we speak on God's word and nothing else. I want to thank you all for being here, and I hope that you join me for the next one.